Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In Surah Baqarah verse 45, Allah says, وَاسْتَعِينُوا بِالصَّبْرِ وَالصَّلَاةِ وَإِنَّهَا لَكَبِيرَةٌ إِلَّا عَلَى الْخَاشِعِينَ. And the translation of this verse is, and seek help through patience and prayer, and indeed it is difficult, except for the humbly submissive. Now in the previous episode, I spoke about the fact that there can be no easy version of Islam. A version in which you can worship your desires, do as you please, and still call yourself a Muslim. But the question is why? Why does the path of Islam have to be difficult and filled with struggle? Because the core of Islam, the very center of Islam, is jihad. Islam is all about struggle. Take the struggle out and there is no Islam left. Struggle to control your nafs, struggle to control your desires, struggle to control your negative emotions, struggle to forgive, and struggle to show mercy. In fact, the 5 pillars of Islam are all about struggle. Leaving the things that you're doing just to pray and then doing this 5 times a day is a struggle. Abstaining from food and drink during fasting is a struggle. Giving out the wealth that you love for yourself is a struggle. And of course, Hajj is the ultimate struggle. So if the idea is to remove struggles and worship Allah as well as your desires, choosing the rituals you want to do and the rituals you want to ignore, the commands you want to follow and the commands you want to ignore, then you have altered the religion entirely. But then we can ask, why is struggle the core of Islam? Why is struggling so important all the time? Because it is a battle between the ruh and the nafs. The nafs has desires that are linked to this world. The desire to be cool, famous, rich, beautiful, liked, appreciated. The desire to do whatever we want without being told what is right and what is wrong. But the ruh desires only one thing. It desires a connection with Allah. It wants to please its creator. It wants to help people for the sake of its creator. It wants to share and give out wealth for the sake of its creator. It wants to make sure that it's involved in halal only and nothing haram. So clearly the ruh and the nafs are at complete opposite extremes, and they both want to dominate the human soul. So as you can see, inside each and every one of us, there's this constant struggle taking place. Therefore, since the core of the human soul is all about struggle, that's why the core of Islam is also all about struggle. Give up the struggle and you allow the nafs to dominate. And a person who is controlled by his nafs can never attain Allah's happiness, nor will he ever have true sukoon and peace in his heart. He will deceive himself by thinking that he is following Islam and that Allah loves him, but in reality his heart will always be unhappy. Now, is this struggle going to be easy? Of course not. That's why Allah tells us in this verse that it's going to be hard. He gets it, He knows. He isn't asking for perfection because this is a tough battle, which is why He's telling us, seek His help. Without His guidance, there's no way we can win. Why? Because the nafs desires a dunya that it can see and hear. The ruh desires a God and a hereafter that it cannot see or hear. And then to make things more difficult, we have an enemy who can see us but we cannot see him. So we need Allah's help. And how do we get that help? Pray. Ask Him. Ask Him to solve your problems, your worries, your tests, your challenges. Ask Him to ease your burden. But then after asking Him, learn to leave it to Him and be patient. Learn to find the silver lining in your test. It could have been worse, but Allah's mercy has made it easier. So trust Him. Let Him do what He does best. And if you're finding it too hard, then it's because you haven't humbled yourself yet. Just as the verse states, you haven't learned to submit your will yet. You still want control. You still think that you know better. You still doubt Allah's plan. You still have a nafs that is in control and not a ruh. You still think that Allah owes you without understanding that He owes you nothing. So change your mindset. Humble yourself. Then you will have khushu in prayers. Then you will find patience easy. And then Islam and this life won't seem that difficult anymore. Assalamu alaikum.